Okay, so for my first video, I was originally going to talk about the My Hero Academia shipping meltdown, but that topic's like almost a month old now, so I'm like, yeah, no one's gonna give a shit about this anymore. So I'm moving on. I'm gonna talk about something a little bit different today. Hell of a boss. Today we're talking about Hell of a Boss. More specifically, we're going to be talking about a very well-known ship within the show. But before I get into that, I need to tell you what on earth a ship is and what on earth Hell of a Boss is. Okay, so to start off, what is a ship? A ship is the act of taking two characters within a fictional media and basically making them smash. You know, like smash, like really go at it at each other. But yeah, that's basically it. Now, if you're out of the loop, you're probably wondering what Hell of a Boss is. So let me just give you a quick rundown right here now. Hell of a Boss is a YouTube series that you can watch for free. It's created by this woman called Vivi, and she goes by the name of VivCPop on YouTube. Basically, she's created a series that is set in hell, and the main story follows a group of demons that are called imps, and one hellhound, actually. And they basically run a business called Imp, or IMP, where they basically take on jobs from people who have recently died and gone to hell to basically go revenge kill whoever they want, basically. Very simple premise, and that's what the show started off like, but it's devolved into something completely unrecognizable. I'm not going to do a review of the show, but just in case you're curious, I like a couple of the characters, and I really like a lot of their songs, because yes, this show is a musical as well. And I'm a big lover of musicals, so that hit the spot right there. But like I said, I'm not here to talk about the show itself, though I may or may not do a video like that in the future. But what I want to address is a certain ship within the community. Now, a very common practice within shipping is that they'll give the ship what's called a ship name, where they basically take both of the characters' names. Like, for example, you have a character named Max and a character named, I don't know, Jenny. Then they'll just mash them together and call that the ship name. So, using my Max and Jenny analogy, you'd get Many or Jax or something like that. You get the idea. So yeah, we have this with two characters in this show. One called Stolitz and another one called Blitz. Blitz being the main character and Stolitz being the main character's quote-unquote love interest. And I'm about to show you in a minute why I used quotes there, because this relationship is not good. Like, it's just not good. Now, a few videos on YouTube have opened my eyes as to how much of a bad ship that this is, and just how much of a bad character Stolitz is. But that's a whole topic for a whole nother video, which I may or may not do in the future. Now, I highly recommend you go watch the show yourself, so you can get like a general idea as to what the show is and to what these characters are. Because if you do, you're going to be very confused. You're going to be like, what the fuck is an imp? What the fuck is a Goetia? But if you've already seen the show, then stick around and watch me rant about this very, very terrible ship. Now, the ship name that the fandom have dubbed this is called Stolitz, which is Stolitz and Blitz smudged into one word, basically. It's what I said before. And Stolitz is a fucking god-awful ship. And I'm not saying that as someone who used to be a fan of it. Like, I'm not saying it from the perspective of, oh, I used to be a fan of the ship, but I'm not anymore. And I honestly just never really cared for the ship. I was just like, oh, that's a ship. Okay, not my cup of tea, I'm gonna move on with my day now. And you're probably saying, well, why are you talking about it then? Well, that's because I need content. And the Stolitz slander is very popular right now, so I'm gonna give my opinion on it. Because like I said, I'm not the first one to talk about this. There are loads of people out there who have talked about how the many ways that this ship is just not good. So let's stop fucking around and get into the video. So the main problem is that this relationship is just completely toxic from both sides of the coin, if you know what I'm talking about. Both of these characters are just absolutely terrible to each other throughout the show, at least through season 1. And for some reason in season 2, because there are 2 seasons, the season 2 just wrapped up not too long ago actually. The way this ship develops is just it's just terribly written. And what I mean by that is, like, in season 1, the relationship was very much one-sided. And in season 2, they just force in the, oh, we're actually in love bit out of nowhere. Like, it feels like the people who wrote season 2 are completely different from the people that wrote season 1. It's like Vivzy just hired a completely new writing team and said, yep, here's the show, do whatever you want. And just gave that new writing team absolutely no context as to what transpired in season 1 and what all the characters are like in season 1. Because when I tell you this shit came out of nowhere, I mean it literally came out of nowhere. But to explain that part to you, I'm gonna have to explain both of the characters to you and their backstories. So, first of all, let's start off with Stolitz. Stolitz is a prince of hell who is, well, as you can tell by the prince title, he's very rich. He is prince of the Goetia family. He is trapped in a loveless marriage to produce an heir, his daughter Octavia, and his wife is the most annoying character ever put to fiction.
Staring at the wall and I have to do everything. It's embarrassing. I'm glad one egg fell out of me so I could stop pretending to want to fuck his scrawny twig ass.
And yes, she is one of the main villains of the show, even though she's not even really villain material, trust me. I don't know what part of England or Britain has that accent, but wherever it is, I'm going to find it and I'm going to eradicate every single living, breathing person there. Joking, obviously, please don't send the FBI to my house, but you get the idea. Her voice is just the most annoying voice I've ever had the displeasure of hearing. But before this turns into a rant about Stolitz's wife, let's get back to the topic at hand. So now you know about Stolitz, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Blitz. So Blitz, or Blitzo, is an imp of hell, one of the lesser demons, as I said before. He spent most of his childhood in a circus until, trauma happens. And he is the leader of the IMP, which was the main concept of the show until it is seemingly abandoned in season 2. I mean, I get you need to develop your characters and develop your world and stuff, but still, that was your main point of the whole show. Why just stop that now? Now that you've been introduced to Stolitz and Blitz, it's time to discuss why I think, and why many other people think, that this ship is just utter garbage. So problem 1 is that, like I said before, both of the characters are completely toxic to each other. Blitz was written from the get-go to be a bit of an arsehole to everyone, but there were a few moments in season 1 where he's kind of likable, he stands up for his crew and all that. But I would say he is pretty tame compared to what Stolitz does. In the show, there's this book called The Grimoire, which is owned by Stolitz, and is basically the book that gives the IMP the ability to travel to the living world, where they will proceed to carry out the murders, sticking to the immediate murder professionals. God damn, that song is stuck in my head. And the reason why that's important is because the relationship that Blitz and Stolitz has all revolved around that book. Basically, Stolitz would say, hey, if you want to keep using the book, you'll come over and you'll have sex with me, basically. A favor for favor situation, as most people say. And Blitz agrees to this because, well, it gets me my book. I mean, I'm not comfortable with it, but it gets me my book, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And you can tell throughout the season that a lot of the times Blitz is very uncomfortable around Stolitz, because Stolitz in season 1 is like a right old pervert around Blitz, always calling him pet names and calling him like sexy little imp and plaything and all that, and it was just, well, let's just say Blitz was not very fond of that. And we get the sense that Stolitz doesn't really care for Blitz at all. He just wants him around for sex, basically. Like, I'm gonna play you a few moments of where Stolitz in season 1 was basically just looking down upon Blitz and just saw him as nothing but a toy to be played with.
I become hungry. And when I become hungry, I want to choke on that red of yours, your and lick all of your before taking out your and with more teeth until you're screaming like a fucking babe.
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time, Sound fair, my little imp?
Fine, whatever!
Oh, Blitz, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to feel your slimy inside of my
What?
Why, hello, my big dick Blitzy.
What the fuck?
Dad!
Language, everyone.
Now, does that sound like what a loving partner would say to you? If you answered yes to that, then you're a fucking sicko and you need to check yourself into Arkham Asylum immediately. One of the main points people bring up when criticizing this ship is moments like this, and they kind of switch the gender of Blitz. Like, for example, imagine he was a woman instead of a man, and Stolitz was still a man, and he was saying all this unhinged shit to him. Like, imagine that last clip for a second. Just imagine you're sitting in the living room, chilling with your best mate, and all of a sudden he calls up his girlfriend saying, "Oh, hello, my big titty woman." What would your reaction be to that? Disgust, hopefully. Or imagine this other scenario. Imagine that same friend who was talking to his girlfriend like that says to her, "Oh, you can borrow my book, but you have to have sex with me first, or have sex with me after." Like, I'd imagine you'd be pretty uncomfortable and disgusted at those remarks, especially if you're a girl yourself. But a lot of people don't really see a problem with Stolitz doing that to Blitz because, well, they're gay, and, as long as it's gay, it's okay. That's what I imagine their thought process is. But in truth, this shouldn't really be, well, no, not shouldn't really, it shouldn't be okay for anyone to say that to their partner. I mean, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm not some sort of relationship guru, but it shouldn't take me having fucking Einstein's knowledge in order to realize, hey, this shit is disgusting to say to your partner. But you get the idea. Season 1, he's always talking down to Blitz and always being like very condescending. And not only that, he treats Blitz's entire species as like beneath him. And you know what? It's fine for characters to be assholes if that's the way they were supposed to be written. But the fact that their relationship blossomed into what it is now, or I don't know if blossom is the right word. I don't know what word to use for it, but it's definitely not blossom. Blitz is basically giving back shots to a guy who's looked down on him and his race for the entire time we've known him in the show. But suddenly, oh, what's this? Apparently Stolitz has never looked down on him.
Ha! I'm right, aren't I? You get off to getting plowed by people you look down on.
I don't look down on you. How many times do I... when?
Oh, and what's this? He's never just seen Blitz as a plaything and nothing more?
The fact that you couldn't believe that I might have these feelings about you, that your first instinct is that it's always about sex.
I mean, I'm sorry, motherfucker. Didn't you literally make it like that? Oh, Stolitz. You're really gonna make me bust down one of the clips I've already shown?
Once a month, on the full moon, you return the book to me, followed by a night of passionate fornication. And you get to keep it all the rest of the time, Sound fair, my little imp?
But oh yeah, I definitely didn't make this about sex. Oh no, I'm completely innocent in this situation. With that being said, we're getting into Season 2, baby. Let's talk about Season 2 Stolitz. So in Season 2, we get a bit more backstory on how Blitz and Stolitz came to their arrangement. Basically, long and short of it is Blitz seduced Stolitz in order to distract him to get the book. Which, whilst that is a pretty scummy thing to do, we also gotta remember in this same episode, in this same scene, Stolitz decided to initiate the seducing first.
You were here to ravish me, weren't you?
You?
Why else would you be breaking into my room?
And that's got me like, I'm sorry, your friend that you met at like 10 years old finally reunites with you, and your first thought is, ooh, they must want to have sex with me. So still, they're not really showing Stolitz in a good light. And to elaborate on the they met at like 10 years old point, they try and make it out to look like, oh, they've known each other since they were kids, and Stolitz had a crush on Blitz ever since then. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, where was all this information in Season 1? Every time they were together in Season 1, they didn't give off the, oh, best friends turn to lovers energy. And this is what I mean when I say, oh, Season 2 feels like it was written by completely different people. Either that, or this was just shoehorned in at the last second, or they're just making it up as they go along. Because if this was always the plan, you'd think Stolitz would probably think to himself, damn, I actually used to know this guy as a kid. Maybe I shouldn't be doing all this perverted shit to him. I mean, like, don't do perverted shit to anyone, whether or not you're friends with them, but still, you get my point, right? Like, if they wanted to have, like some character development on Stolitz's side, where he's like, he sees him as nothing but a toy in the first season, and towards the end of Season 1, he's like, oh shit, I'm actually really starting to like this guy, and I'm being an arsehole to him. But no, they've just completely retconned all the shit that he did in Season 1, and trying to make it look like, oh, he's always loved him from the very beginning. And the writing is basically trying to manipulate us into feeling sorry for him. And they do that by basically making everyone around him, like, completely unbearable characters. For example, oh, he's cheated on his wife? Oh, but that's completely fine because she was an absolute bitch anyway. Which, yeah, that Stella, the name of the character, is annoying and an absolute bitch, but that still doesn't really justify cheating. Like, it feels like Vivzi's all, like, trying to glorify cheating in a way. Like, you get a pass for cheating just because your partner doesn't like you or is a very big asshole. There was even one point in the show where they at least try and make the relationship seem healthy. In Season 1, Episode 7, there was actually a moment between the two where Stolitz actually just wanted to have like a normal night, basically. Like, to us, the viewers, it was very obvious that Stolitz wanted to just chill and have nothing to do with sex or anything. Which, if you watch the episode, Blitz turns that offer down. But again, Stolitz, you made it like that, so yeah, it's you're still your own fault there, bud. Now, maybe if Stolitz continued that kind of energy in Season 2, then I wouldn't really mind the ship all that much. But no, he immediately goes back to his perverted ways in Season 2, Episode 2. Granted, it is for one episode, and we don't really see him and Blitz together again until the finale episodes. But it's like, how are you gonna have him actually change in the second to last episode of Season 1 and then immediately revert back to it for a bit in Season 2? Now, of course, I need to reiterate this. Blitz is no angel himself. I mean, literally, because he's in hell. That's a dad joke, I'm sorry. But yeah, Blitz isn't all innocent in this relationship himself either, because, of course, like I said before, he seduces Stolitz to distract him and to steal the book, and a couple more times where Blitz used Stolitz to get what he wants. But the things Blitz does pale in comparison to what Stolitz does. Like, don't sit there and tell me that Blitz is worse than Stolitz, because Stolitz is literally just like a sexual predator, or constantly harassing Blitz all the time, and you know what, Blitz is just an asshole to everyone. In conclusion, the ship is garbage because both of the characters are garbage. Now, I do realize I talked a lot more about Stolitz than Blitz in this video, and that's because, well, there's a lot more to talk about Stolitz than there is to talk about Blitz in this situation. Like, you have to admit that Blitz's list of crimes, so to speak, is way shorter than Stolitz's. But with that being said, I'm gonna end this video right here. I hope you liked my very first video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, maybe even leave a comment, tell me what you think about this. And also, I have a VR channel where I play VR games, so if you like VR games, please consider going to subscribe to that one as well. But yep, that's really all I have to say, so I'll see you later.